If you're looking for an expert to help you make things look more beautiful, more greener, stay tuned for this one. Welcome everyone to Your Little Castle Show. A lot of people do know the Cardinal Cowboy is a bit of an outdoorsman. I think the world's beautiful outside. Why wouldn't you want to make your world beautiful? Because, gosh, it's where you live, right? It's where you spend 90%. What percentage of the time do people spend at their house? Depends on the person, obviously. If you're in the city, I don't know, even then it differs, right? Because you might have, I was just visiting a buddy last night, and it's a lot of concrete around him.
Yeah.
So does he get out and go out to the park, which is down the street, and he's right close to the Arch here in St. Louis. Lots of landscaping been done there for sure.
Yeah.
But as you get out anywhere outside, and I know a lot of little small houses, they just have their cool little oasis, their little place where they decided they were going to make everything beautiful.
Yeah.
You help people do that.
Yeah.
Welcome our guest here, everybody. We always are looking for the experts who make a difference. Jared Fronk. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Not Frank, because there's an O in there. But now you'll remember I said it. He's the owner and operator, Greener Designs. Greener Designs on its own makes it sound pretty cool. I mean, obviously, we're looking for places that are beautiful and green. Lots of good benefits from that. Oxygen.
Yeah.
We had a sod company on recently, and they talked about their sod produces enough oxygen for 66 people in a half hour or something like that. Crazy. Don't quote me on that one. Look up our guest, but she was very intelligent with that stuff. But people like things to look green, and beautiful.
Yeah, definitely so.
What do you think? What do you enjoy most about what you get to do? I want to jump right in because I'm excited. I see some of the work. We'll show you some pictures of some of the stuff.
My biggest enjoyment's the final product, seeing people smile and knowing they're going to spend a lot of time in that backyard and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine there's the before and there's the after. We actually zoomed our cameras out a little bit to get more of the screen here today so you can see behind me. Great looking website that's got a lot of good information on there. What led you here? How did you decide? I mean, I said, I got to ask. You're not supposed to ask somebody their age, especially the ladies. but I said, you look relatively young, but I can tell you've been doing this for a while. You started when you were working in this industry when you were 15?
Yeah.
And so from there, you're like, a little bit more growth, a little more going through. I guess you're in high school at that point, obviously.
Yeah, right at the end of high school.
And did you graduate early too?
No, it's on time.
Okay. I was like, wow. And then you went right into this working in the industry now since 2013.
Yeah.
Full time.
Yep.
And your own company lasts 6 years.
Yep.
Somebody who's a go-getter, everybody. All right. Well, what led you to that to begin with? I guess is what I was asking.
As long as I can remember, since being a kid, I've wanted to mow lawns. I was the kid out shoveling instead of sledding, and just kind of pursued that passion over time. Went to college, still always thought about this, and ended up here.
Mowing lawns, sledding. I was out there sledding, everybody. We had the big hill behind our house. I used to be like, why are you guys going through our yard? Because our yard was the one at the top of the hill, and then we'd go right to the ditch. We called it the ditch where we played sports. But you decided to get, you feel, a lot of us get put into this corporate environment, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We talked about your friend who helps you with your web stuff, an Anheuser-Busch guy. I'm an Anheuser-Busch guy. And then I just feel like sometimes, nothing against that, everybody, if you want to work for corporate America, it's not a bad place. You can make some good money. But you don't get quite that autonomy. You've never experienced working for corporate America. You've worked on your own company for...
I worked for corporate America for about 2.5 months, and
okay,
I realized that was not for me.
That was not okay, that's what led you to where you're at.
Yes, yes, sir.
Before you had some experience with landscaping, and then figured out after you went to the corporate job for a little while. Then
I got out of college, tried it. Nope, went right back to this.
Okay, without naming the name, now I'm curious. Don't name the company, obviously. But what industry was it in?
I was a tech recruiter. And doing a lot of interviews and hiring people for other companies.
Okay. I had a few tech recruiters that I worked with because they were always trying to place you in a tech position.
Yep.
And I can tell you a little bit about that space too. I'll never forget. I won't name any names, but I had somebody This is a true story. Corporate America, everybody. That's what we're talking about. Boss said I did a great job. Came in. All of a sudden, I get a note from our recruiting agency, the gal who ran it, and she says, "You're not getting a raise." I'm like, "My boss just told me that you guys are charging more money to them. Why aren't you giving it to me?" "Well, you were late one time, and it was something else." And my boss is like, "You were late one time out of like 90 days, and you called us and told us because something happened, and whatever." And I called back, and I go to this gal, and guy goes, "Hey man, I'll have you over at Monsanto for this much right now." All of a sudden, I got a raise, right?
Yeah.
That's the corporate environment. That's what you're dealing with. You get to enjoy working with people on their homes.
Yeah.
Is that what you like most about what you do?
Yeah. Yeah, we do commercial as well, but the home projects hit a little more special because seeing those smiles at the end of the project and knowing they're actually going to be out there enjoying it every night makes a big difference.
And we talked a little bit about the crew you've got. You've already got a number of people working for you, and based on the season, you might even, the time of year, the work that's necessary. We all, as small business owners, are juggling how to get the jobs done, who has the most resources for what we're trying to accomplish, and partner up. What's it like running the company, I guess is what I'm saying.
I mean, ups and downs, it's not all glorious. It's not all vacation time and stuff like people like to say it is. But, you get up early, you just get it done, get out there with your guys, show them that, you're not above them or anything, and just get down to the nitty gritty.
That is a key, everybody. Don't try to act like you're above the guys. Why would you? Because they're the guys working for you.
Yeah, they're the backbone.
They're the backbone. My mom taught me that once. She says, "Carter, you realize you're going to have to go in there and do all the work that you tell them to do." Right? And because if they see you not doing it, they're, well, why you? And especially when you get started, ultimately when you're running the thing, they don't expect you to. But you're going to go dig in the hole that needs to be done. That's a very important role. But then you get, tell me if this is part where I'm getting into the, how do we run businesses, everybody? Gentleman sitting right in your seat, he says, "I could have a personal issue in the middle of the floor and somebody else would clean it up because his time is very valuable running the company, not dealing with those types of things." So you've learned to have to delegate that, and depending on the size of your company, the age of your company, and you've done a great job. Look at the reviews we've got here. Is that one of the biggest tasks for a business owner? How to delegate?
Especially when you're scaling, delegating on the right manner of responsibility for guys without overdoing it for them, because you have to compensate them the right way as well while you're doing it.
Yeah, people want to get paid for their work. That's kind of a common sense thing. And you wonder, then you got to constantly gauge, are they doing the work? Have they done the work? Are they doing a good job at the work? And sometimes are they not doing the work, but they're telling you to do the work? That comes out in your area pretty quickly, I would imagine.
You'll see if we're not doing the work.
See this thing? It's not finished. It doesn't look right. It's crooked, whatever. Interesting. All right. What is it about, ultimately, if you had to say what fuels your passion about it? I mean, when you wake up every day, is it that final product that you get to see?
Yeah, it's the final product. It's the way people look at the project, that they envisioned it, we built it, and now they get to experience it, not just for that time, but they get to share it with friends, family, and stuff like that, too. And knowing it's going to be there 30 years down the road is pretty cool.
That's a good point, too. I mean, I guess there's a lot of things out there. Now you're making me all high. See, my product's only good for like 2 to 5 years. And the technology will change, and now you need 3D interviews or something. Who knows what's coming? But literally, like you're helping people to make a decision that can impact like the resale value of their house,
correct?
The way their kids play in the backyard, the sports that they may or may not become interested in, depending on what you've built for them in the backyard and the front yard, and then what the neighbors and the guests and their potential prospective clients go. "Hey, we're having a Christmas party. Come over to the house. Wow, these guys are on the ball." Or, "Ooh, they need to hire you." They haven't done already. Is that some of what goes into what when you're dealing with this?
Yeah, yes it is.
Okay, so I can only imagine as a business owner. I mean, these are the questions we're trying to pick the brains of owners of businesses here in the St. Louis and the Midwest, and we've had people flying from around the country to be on the show to talk about what they do. So we appreciate you, Jared, for sharing that with us, because that's obviously for you to spend any time here sitting with us. It's time out of your busy day. I'm going to go over to show you guys. We've got a lot to share with everyone, a whole lot of work. We want to show some of the pictures that people have the final product, if you will, right? And but I like to review people a little bit for their actual reviews. And you and I had little conversations. I bring up a little bit of our discussion about.
Oh yeah.
It's life. It's the way that the world is. Every once in a while, and I read a couple of reviews, and I was like, and we do notice the ones like, what went wrong? And then you read it, it's like, it was the middle of a snowstorm, yeah. And you're going to complain the guy was trying to clear the highway or the road, and somebody just decided I didn't like the way. Wow. Otherwise, everything else. I mean, yeah, you're going to always get that one, everybody, and I've dealt with it myself. But then look at the overall, and that's where you get a 4.4, 26 reviews, not somebody who's going, please give us a review, please give us a review, please give us a review. A lot of companies might do that, and there's some benefit to that, but these are all for real, man. These are people that are writing down. So I'm going to pick out a couple here, and I enjoy, if you don't mind, us sharing that a little bit, because it is cool to have a little bit of what we share. What's going on? Greener Designs always does a great job with landscaping. Recently, they helped clear out our parking spaces and lot with the snow and ice. We had thank you for my job, well done, and made it safer for everyone. I've got my line there. We had so many thanks. There it is. It's on my smaller screen. I can see that. On our wide screen, I'm looking at the break between the TVs. So I guess, and that's also what some of the reviews talked about, is like, you guys do a little bit of everything, and it will help anybody with any kind of project.
Yeah.
One of the reviews our gal was talking about, you even fixed their floor.
Yeah. We did quite a lot of landscape for her, and then she asked us to come in the house and finish up a floor job. So we did what we could there on that one.
Yeah, and it seemed like she wanted you to kind of patch it together.
Yeah. Reuse some materials and stuff. You know, you can only do what you can with the materials you're working with.
But the bottom line is you will help anybody any way possible, it looks like, and that's pretty cool to see a business owner who will take the time to do so. Give me a little bit of an analysis real quickly. We're moving fairly quickly through our discussion here. I like the short, quick, to the point answers.
Yeah.
I'll elaborate if as necessary to fill a little time, because I like to emphasize what it is that you're doing well. But when somebody's deciding to do a job like this, I can only imagine there's a million options, right?
Yeah.
And so it's part of your job to help them to determine, well, based on this budget with this landscape area, here's what I would recommend, versus if you spend the same money, you can do it another way.
Yeah. Versus
if you spend a little more or a little less, you get something else. So how's that work?
So over the years, I've learned, and it's not to offense anybody, but kind of start off with what's the budget, because everybody always has the Pinterest, here's the $100,000 project, but we want to do it for 10. So we start off there, and then we design to what fits the budget and also fits the needs of the client.
Well, I can only imagine that obviously the budget is, and it seems like almost everything on our little planet does come down to the money, the budget, right?
Yeah.
And if everything was free, we'd all get everything we ever dreamed of. That's just not the way it works, right? And so we've heard the phrase, tell me if you get what you pay for. Generally, is that true in your space also?
Big time.
And so you have the guys who come in and say, oh, I got a bid that was $3,000 less for the same thing. What's really going on there?
Go take it. That's what I always tell people, and call me and you're ready to get it fixed, But no, what's going on there is a lot of times it's just one-off guys, smaller companies that, aren't paying for the insurance, the big things like that, the overhead costs, the materials, paying their guys correctly, and they end up beating us out on stuff like that, and it's just part of the game. You go forward.
Well, I can only imagine, again, that once you have established yourself as somebody who understands what's going on here. Yeah, I mean, in the tech world, we deal with people like, it's done magically, automatically by computers. There's no work that has to be done, right? There's just like your hours sitting behind a desk figuring out how to piece together applications from 4 different companies. Do you deal with a similar thing? You've got to deal with all different variations of the job, the work, because over here is shrubbery, over here is a wall, over here is some water, over there. Tell me how that fits together and what you have to deal with when you're planning this for somebody.
Well, as far as like fits together, you want to do your staple pieces first, so your hardscape, like if you're doing a patio, that's the first thing you do and design around that, and then all the other stuff's little plug and play pieces. That's pretty much how we go about it,
Okay.
Take your staple lance or whatnot, design from there.
There's a science to this, everybody. Do the big pieces first, and then you can implement. And those are more variable than you can just say, this particular thing, it could go here or it could go over here. Do you want to sit next to when the sun rises or when the sun sets?
Yeah.
Where you spend more time out at night or in the morning? All kinds of depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
Is every single job just completely customized?
Yeah.
There's not even two
There's
jobs.
there's never a repeat.
Never
And that's
two
what's
things in
awesome
the
about
system.
this.
I can imagine. All right, everybody, we got a lot of fun stuff we do in the community. I've got my business partner calling me. We're going to do a big event today, but I want to share with you a little bit more of the fun we've got. And one of the best charities we were fortunate to get to work with. I've got a couple partners. I've got my mortgage license. My buddy Jason said, you got to come out to this golf tournament helping people with PSTD. And suicide's a real issue, everybody. And we all know people. Gosh, if I could talk to everybody. I contemplated that myself after going through my coma and everything I went through. But these guys have really done a great job. Give it up for Will here and enjoy a little bit of what's going on in our community. Will Bates, everybody. Will Be Inspired. Tell me about the event you got going on here.
Oh, we got a golf tournament today. Got some people coming out to support our military veterans and first responders. Everything that we raise today goes towards benefiting them, mental and physical health, overall wellness, wellness retreats, outdoor retreats, gym memberships. You think of it, you name it. That's what we do. So this is all to benefit them. I appreciate everybody coming out and taking action. Thank you.
We're at Old Hickory Golf Course. Been here for a number of events. Great crowd here.
Yep.
How many people turn out for this thing so far?
There'll be at least 170 people here.
170 golfers, everybody. All right, if they need the Cardinal Cowboy to give out some free golf lessons, I might be doing that later. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Giddy up. We'll see you guys. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there we go. We got more stuff to do in the community. Curtis, my buddy, who's the guy who just called me, I said, denied. Sorry, Curtis. Had to do our interview here, but there he is in the magazine, everybody. These guys have put together a revolutionary option for people who want to invest when nobody else will mess with you. Really, I mean, I know what it is. I was going to get my license, and this organization claimed that they did. I saw them do it, but most of your guys, like, if you ain't got 10 grand, we're not talking to you.
Yeah.
Minimum, and that's like they're like kind of joking with 10 grand. Like, let's see if you're interested. We'll test it with 10 grand. Somebody with 150 bucks, check it out. You can do that, and gold has gone crazy. These coins we have. I finished second. They made the joke. First runner-up. The first guy who didn't win the contest was the point they were making there. But I finished second in a big little competition we have for who could help the most people. But this is a great organization. So with that, let's jump back in here. Tell me, obviously, you have done a lot of work to make a difference in our little planet. Somebody started off. I'm so excited that he started a career at such a young age. I wish I'd have done the same thing. We've all had our moments where we thought, man, what if I go do this? You actually went out and did it. Pretty cool. But I want to dig in a little bit more about the cost analysis and a little bit just what your range of services is and how big some of the jobs are and how small some of the jobs are, depending on what it is. Talk to me about that a little bit.
I mean, yeah, we do anything from just tiny little cleanups, $250 minimum. Obviously, we got to show up and make a little something. But projects that range from, we've done some home additions. We're actually getting ready to do a pickleball court and dog park out in the city of St. Peters for an apartment complex. So, a couple $100,000 job there.
Okay.
We really like doing probably the medium to bigger scale jobs. You get to stay on site a little bit longer. They're more of the bigger visual effect jobs that last longer. The patios, the walls, the parks, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. This is my mom, drama teacher. We talked about her a couple times on the show. Taught John Goodman at Afton High School. John's from L.A., Lower Afton, I think they make the joke. But he went to Afton High School. And the point is, the show must go on, but it's what people see visually, right? Behind the scenes, there's a couple little pieces of duct tape and whatever it might be. When you're working with a client, they're not going to let that go on. But the point is, and it probably is. I mean, you tell me, I'm making that little joke, but how often there's something you had to go, guys, this didn't work out the way we had to. We had to do it a little bit different way. Hammer this thing in, put the good shreenery. It still looks beautiful, but there's all kinds of ways you got to do to make these things look the way they need to get the job done.
Yeah, especially if you're using any kind of natural product, natural rocks, boulders, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of finagling. It does not go down how the paper says it should. You just work with it, you make it work, make sure it's structurally sound, and move forward.
It does not go down the paper the way the paper said it should, everybody. Is that like the instructions, or depending on who's designed it?
I think at least for this industry it is.
Okay, and so you're literally like, this is what they said, but this is what we're going to have to do. And how often does the client be like, either they didn't notice it, or they're like, it looks better than what you said? Or
just over my experience, when we have to make those more serious changes and stuff, I bring them out and make sure they're okay with it, and let's sign off and make sure you're still good with moving forward so you're happy with the final product. Last thing you want to do is give them a product they don't want at the end.
Yeah, you'll be going out there tearing things out and replacing it. It costs everybody a lot more money, and then sometimes they're going to say, you eat that cost because communication we're talking about there, everybody. One of the keys to success. That's what I went to grad school for. I didn't learn much, but I learned a lot in grad school. Tell people what's up. Be straightforward, be direct, be polite to make sure they understand what you're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Very important. All right. We're down here about 5 minutes left in our first half hour here. Jared has a lot of great information, so we want to get another half hour we're going to record with him because we got a lot more to talk about. But you talk about what is it, if you could say there's any one thing, and maybe there's a few things, what really, I'm going to put the hat on for this, everybody. We're getting into what separates you from the rest? What is something you really feel like you specialize in? Because there's a number of landscaping lawn companies out there.
Yeah, there's a ton of them out there.
Right.
I'd say what separates us more so than anything is the communication and having clients be involved throughout the project. Not here, sign the dot, let's get our deposit, and here's your product, give us our check. We try to get them involved, show them things that are going on, able to actually make changes and work with them, not just looking for that bottom signature, so to speak.
Not looking for the payday, everybody. That's how often we all need to get paid. I mean, it's kind of the way the world works. For all of you that don't understand that yet, there's a few people on our planet that haven't figured that out. But we can get in the whole discussion there. But literally, I mean, how often is it that you're going, this is what we've got, this is what we're going to do, and effectively they're going, I'm ready to sign. I want to go. That's kind of what you're shooting for, right? Where they after having asked for that money, they go, you've proven to me we want this. How do we get started, right?
I've rarely had any issues with collecting at the end, so to speak, but that comes from the involvement, the communication and stuff. That they're getting what they want at the end, and that makes it easy to hand that over.
That's the way you run a business, everybody. Good stuff. What do you think is the biggest mistake that people make? I mean, I can only imagine there's lots that goes on here. What is it always I'll get out the pencil, everybody. Cheap gets very expensive, right? Is that one of the biggest things? People try to save money, but they're really costing themselves a lot.
I've noticed with any of the landscape projects, any of the bigger stuff, walls, patios, concrete work, if you go cheap, you're going to be paying for it at the end. Whether it's a year or two down the road, you're going to start seeing those defects, and then all of a sudden you're wishing, man, I spent that extra $1,000, my patio would have been level.
What a concept. A level patio, huh? It probably started off level, but because they didn't put the right, what do you put underneath?
All the base, all the good stuff, yeah.
I learned this I can talk about one story, I won't name names, but literally the family I'm talking about found out later that this was not even assembled correctly. It was a big wall, and before they could sell the house, they were like, it's a $10,000 repair. And it had just fallen over.
Yeah.
And as it fell over, they're like, there's none of the supports that you're supposed to have back there that are normally there. They just tried to lock in a bunch of pieces of cement, these interchangeable pieces or whatever.
Yep.
That's not the result to it, right? You got to do it the right way.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Especially with those projects like that. Do your homework. Definitely do your homework on the walls, the patios. There's a lot of people that slap them up and move on, and you're paying for it in the end.
So do not cut corners, everybody. All right, I'm going to give a quick glimpse here on their Facebook page here. Check it out. Jared's got a lot of good information here, and just look at the whole website. We'll get into that on a second show and how you get started and all that good stuff, but pretty easy. Call, text.
Yeah,
call text, form. I saw
email.
The form you have on your website. But I'm going to put up on wall number 2, there's the Facebook page, and lots of nice things people say about you there too, but here's some of the work. Tell me when to stop. Tell me what to click on. I might just click on one I think is cool.
Click on what you want. We'll talk about it.
This is interesting. What's going on here? You built in a whole...
Yeah, so these are a lot of projects that are popping up. You mentioned city stuff earlier. A lot of city projects happening. Tower Grove and all that's kind of revamping down there.
Right.
This is a Tower Grove project. She built a garage, nice garage, 2 doors on each side, but the yard was 3 foot taller than the garage. She wanted to be able to utilize that. She actually now has a hot tub and all kinds of cool stuff on there. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's about 30 by 30.
Okay, that's a big area, yeah. I'm going to just click right arrow, and then is this part of the one you're working on?
This was the start of it, yeah. We'll get better at taking before photos. Normally we start the project, we got to slow down.
Yeah, obviously a lot that goes into that. And you've got a ton more pictures out there, everybody. But look at, is this the beginning of a foundation? Is that for a hot tub? Or?
She wanted to put a little fire pit next to that and have a little space out in her yard for just lawn chairs and whatnot. So that's what she ended up doing.
Very
Just
cool.
a little concrete pad there.
All right, everybody. Stay tuned for more. This is the Your Little Castle Show. Jared's going to give us another half hour here. And if you need an expert, lawn and landscape expert since 2013. Stay tuned for more, everybody. Giddy up.